Tonight on the Mac to the Future Livecast. Go! iOS and iPadOS 13.5 are now out with that COVID contact tracing app or setting or both that will help you keep track if you've been near anyone that has or recently admitted to being COVID positive. Eventually, we'll get into that. The latest version of Android has it too. If your Android phone can grab the latest version and get security updates and some other stuff too. All of that tonight and more on the Mac to the Future Go Livecast. And welcome one and all to the Mac to the Future Livecast, the show that continues to show that even amateurs can do livecasting. Yes, we can. And I am joined, of course, this week by Mr. Dave Ginsburg. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
You need a haircut, you hippie.
Yes, I do. It's getting really bad. Yes, it's been fun. Sequestered into my home, but still cranking out the podcasts and still doing all kinds of stuff for the Apple user group. So we just keep going and we keep having fun and keep learning about Apple products.
Yay! How about you, Warren?
Yo, not to the you fixed my tagline. That's good. Same. Working a couple hours a day with the old people. They're funny, man. Yeah, they're crazy people, man.
And the great thing is you have a constantly changing cast of people that you see.
One day after I sign the agreement, I'll tell you all the stories about this.
I really, really, really don't want you to do that. I seriously don't want to know.
I tried to put. Evidently, you can't put Zoom on a first generation iPad. I learned that today.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of applications
iOS 5, I don't
think
so.
Put on a first generation iPad.
She's iOS like, 5, I don't think so.
Can you put Zoom on this? And she hands it to me, and I'm like, I don't want to try.
You can't put any app on that device. You can browse the web. That's about it.
Not even so FaceTime wasn't working for her either. I don't know. So
let's see. The iPad is now what, 10 years old?
10 years.
Yeah, because I've still got. I think this is it right here. Is this the first one? May be my original.
Yeah, but that's not the first. I don't think.
That's got cellular on it.
It's thicker. The first generation was. This was
really actually
thick.
the one. This was actually the. She's got an old Logitech.
Yeah, I don't think that's the first one.
Logitech keyboard. Yeah. This is the one that I used to take to Macworld Expo.
Yeah, the first gen was about 3 times as thick as the current one.
Yeah, a lot thicker than that one.
It was really thick.
So they ended the OS support on that quick, that first gen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did have the first.
At least iPad 2 it lasted a lot longer. So
I think you can still buy it.
iPad 2? Yeah, you can find them. It's
end
of the road, I think.
Brand new. They were selling those for a really long time.
Yeah,
years and years.
I'll buy it.
But why would you want to buy it now? I think iOS 10 is the way it was.
I'm not saying you want to buy it. I just said I think
it might have been iOS 9. Yeah, it might be iOS 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's that.
So there's hey, Guy and I are somewhat old people. Yeah, I'm actually going to be 60 this year. And here's the thing, so many people are so hung up on their age. Like if they hit like whatever age it is that triggers them, and then they're like, "Oh no, I can't tell you how old I am." It's like
I turn 49 next week.
Yeah, see, my father had
55 in November.
Had his 39th birthday every year for about 43, 44 years.
Yeah.
And it got to the point, my mother had these two big candles, a 3 and a 9. It went on for so long, she had to go out and replace those candles. And they were these big, thick candles. But that's not what we're here to talk about, is it? I don't know why I went down that route, because that's what
we could, but you would do it without me. But go ahead.
What?
Nothing. I said you guys could talk about it, but you would do it without me. But that's okay.
Well, going into quick takes.
Yes.
Google Podcasts are now CarPlay friendly. So if you are a subscriber in Google Podcasts for all of your podcasts, you can now put that right on your CarPlay, like it really matters.
Well, they just added support for iOS not too long ago when they updated the app.
Yeah. Unless you are offering some kind of exclusivity with the podcasts, I don't really. I mean, I know a lot of people use Downcast and Stitcher and
Pocket
Spotify
Cast.
and Pocket Cast and a bunch of different applications.
Undercast, Overcast.
I've always just used Apple's
it looks good.
podcast app.
Is that the Google one?
That's Google Podcast profile. Yeah, of course, the
I'm
most
assuming
important podcast is right. It came right up. So,
but I'm assuming it's because it's cross-platform now. You could use on Androids, and that's probably why they did it. So,
well, maybe.
Oh yeah.
But is CarPlay cross-platform with CarPlay? Sorry, is Android
Android Play?
No, you got Android Play.
Right. Well, with Android Play, you already had Google Podcasts.
Yeah, but they're playing nice now. They want to.
Okay. So I guess I should just be happy and shut up. That's how that works. Some Apple stores are beginning to reopen, mostly in the South and the West. I looked at the map of currently open Apple stores, and there are none around us, guys. There's none in Pennsylvania, there's none in Virginia, and there's none in Illinois. It's all out to the west and the south.
It's because all the Illinois stores are in malls for the most part, except for downtown.
Yeah,
so.
that might be it, because all our Apple stores are in the mall, too.
Well, I mean, you've got the Clarendon store here in Virginia is in a big open, what do you call those? Like a town center kind of thing.
Yeah.
As well as the one in Woodbridge, Virginia. Those are both like in town centers. They're not in malls. Big open.
Well, the big one in
areas.
Chicago is.
I was saying with Michigan
That's
Avenue would open.
Westfields, isn't it? Isn't there one in
the one
Westfields Mall?
No, but their big one is the one on the river, and that's
Right, Michigan Avenue.
Freestanding. Yeah, it's a freestanding.
Okay, well
one.
then there's no rhyme or reason to it, and Apple needs to get off the stick. Google Fi now has eSIM available for iPhones. Why don't you take that one, Dave?
Yeah, when Google Fi originally came out, I had it on my Pixel 2 XL, and it had eSIM support, and I was kind of excited about that. And then, of course, the 10S, 10S Max, and then moving up to the next models, offer eSIM support. So T-Mobile offered it, and it was kind of a new thing. But the reason why you'd want eSIM is for the fact that you want to have it electronically on your phone, no physical SIM at all. And if you happen to travel, which none of us are doing right now, you could get you can get a regular physical SIM to put in your phone, so then you can have both lines working at once so it basically becomes two phones in one.
Can you do that if you travel over to Europe, use an eSIM in through a carrier?
eSIM, no. If I wouldn't recommend messing with that because with my experience in Italy last year, and my eSIM got screwed up, and then I ended up not having a phone for the rest of the trip. I would recommend not leave the eSIM as your primary device, and then when you travel overseas, just use the regular SIM. What Google Fi had done before they finally are now supporting iPhones is they gave you a physical SIM to get onto their services, and then of course there were restrictions like the messaging wouldn't work and all kinds of other stuff.
So you had a physical eSIM.
A physical SIM is what Google had at first for iPhones, and then now that's why I brought this up. Now they're finally offering the eSIM option for iPhone users.
So we're no longer being left out in the cold for eSIM.
Because you had Because I got it was free. You gave it a SIM, and then I started reading the instructions. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Okay. Well, let's move on over to the main stories. This is breaking just today. iOS and iPadOS 13.5 has just come out, and the official downloaded version, as compared to developers and public betas and all the rest of that. And you can download them to any phone or tablet that supports it. Now, this is the thing that everyone is really either excited about or mad enough to spit, depending on where you live, what phone you have, and whether or not your country's government gives a rat's ass about privacy. So Apple and Google's version is the one that most security experts say is better at protecting your privacy at the expense of governments knowing who is infected or who they've been near lately. Best of all, you can turn it off if you want. Since this requires a large percentage of people to use it for it to have any kind of accuracy, we'll see if privacy versus government's belief in knowing what's best for you wins out in the long run. Now, we were talking about this just before we started the show, and as of yet, you can't turn it on. Now, weren't you able to turn it on in the beta?
The first beta, not the second one.
First beta, and then the rest of the way it was off.
Okay. So, but now it requires some kind of application to be installed as well.
It wasn't even on. The first beta had the switch, but it didn't do anything.
The switch went on, it didn't do anything.
Yeah, so you didn't turn it on. Nothing
So
has
it
been
was
traced.
a beta for a digital
It was just
switch.
it's a placeholder showing you.
Make sure the switch worked.
Yeah, you could turn it on and off. So you need an app. Yeah, it's not actually doing anything right now.
No, it isn't active yet, and I think they're highlighting it more so because they're concerned for privacy, because they're thinking that because this is turned on by the fact that it's going to have some privacy concerns. There was, I think, during the betas they were concerned that it was going to be turned on by default, and it as Frank just mentioned, but it's since now going to be turned off by default. So you have to actually go and turn it on with that. So. But right now, it's a non-issue. It's not a big deal. The Face ID thing was probably the more more of attention to that. Where the fact now, when you do Face ID, and it'll automatically sense that you have a face mask on, and it'll go right to the passcode, and you just type in your passcode, so you don't have to keep.
It's actually a great thing.
It's awesome. Though.
Okay, see, I was kind of wondering about, because I know that there was the trick of having half your face covered and half of it uncovered with the mask.
I tried it and it never works.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So all this basically does is say, oh, you have a mask on. You have to put in your physical password.
It's kind of doing what it should have done all along anyways, because if you have your mask on and you try to if you have a mask on and doesn't recognize you, you have to kind of wait or you have to wait for it to prompt for a password and timeout, which is annoying. It's an extra 2-3 seconds. You have to just kind of sit there. So now it knows that you're wearing a mask, or it knows that something's covering your face, and it goes right to the password screen. So
excuse me, I am so sorry.
Exactly.
God bless you.
That's true.
Thank you. The last bit for this is group FaceTime calls now have an option to not switch to whoever is talking in the large window. So if you have a FaceTime call with like 9 people, what it was doing before, whoever was it kind of works this way with Zoom as well, I think. Whoever is speaking, their video comes up front and center on the screen, which is fine if you only have like a few people speaking. But if you become in a large group, it can become very confusing. So now what it basically does is it just keeps the same size tiles for everyone, and I guess it just depends on the person that's watching the presentation to know who's talking by whose lips are moving, I guess, or gesturing or what have you.
It was a gimmick that Apple did.
Yeah, I mean the windows will be jumping around. I find it to be annoying. To be honest with you, with FaceTime, it's good news.
It wasn't a COVID sneeze.
No. It was a COVID sneeze. You got the COVIDs. He's got the COVIDs.
Is that, see, that's now an adjective.
COVID.
The COVIDs. It's like I got the COVIDs from watching the Mac to the Future livecast on the Facebooks. That's how that works.
I got it.
Okay, so
YouTubes.
the YouTubes, the AOLs. See, that's the internet. AOL.
So I guess the bottom line for the update, security fixes and a couple new features, but nothing big. Bug fixes, and it's just prepping for iOS 14. That's going to get announced, in a couple weeks at end of actually about a month. From now,
we'll probably be living with. I'm guessing we're going to be with 13 until early next year, whenever it is that they release the iPhone 12. I don't think they're going to release the iPhone 12 on time, like the September October time frame.
Hard to say.
I don't see it happening.
But the
if Apple's developing iOS 14, they're gonna want to get it out there in the wild. That is easy to do.
But will they want to? Will they want to put out iOS 14 without a new phone to put it on? I mean, that's usually why. I know, but if the iPhone 12 isn't ready yet and can't be released until January or February, say, just because they can't build enough of them in current conditions, then I think they'll hold off on releasing iOS 14 until the 12 comes out.
The developer conference is next month. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of board developers.
Board developers, and we can't just... They're going to want that gold master.
Why are we here?
Yeah.
What? This is what they do. I mean, that's why it's not... They would have canceled WWDC. Like,
they go hand in hand, though. iOS 14 helps to sell phones, and phones help get people to move to iOS 14.
Why are they having WWDC?
Because they always do at this time. And it's virtual.
To do what? For what?
To do, I mean, we have no idea what they're going to do. We don't
we
know.
Every year they do the same thing. They announce it built into operating systems.
Okay.
Every year.
Well, and they'll be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be able to release the phone at the same time.
It's possible the phone may not come out, especially with the limitations, but I tend to doubt it, but there's no way that iOS 14 will be out.
So you think they're going to release iOS 14 whether or not the iPhone
100%.
12 is ready to go?
120%. Yeah.
120%.
All right. Well, we'll see.
We're both beta testers. We know.
I mean, this iOS 13 would have been done if COVID wasn't a thing. Just...
Oh, of course.
13.4 was supposed to be the end of the roadmap for iOS, and then
so they're already stretching it out,
right? And it was supposed to be 13.4.5, and then because it got an API that had to be added, they had to move it to a full next version, 13.5. Yeah.
So 13, this is just a COVID extension, more or less. It has nothing to do with iOS 14. It has to do with the world we live in. But iOS 14 is going to come out like normal. It will run on probably everything that iOS 13 runs on, and people will do it. And that's going to be it. They're not going to turn that.
All right. Well,
they're
not
going to change that. Well, I mean, why can't developers still develop?
They can. There's no reason why they can't without iOS 14 coming out in September, October.
Or the phone.
If it waits until whenever the phone comes out.
Yeah.
iOS 14 doesn't have to come out before the phone. That's all I was saying.
It always does. The iOS,
I'm so smart.
The iOS comes out before the phone all the time. Anyhow,
it's a debate.
Yeah,
it's not a debate. It's
not
a guaranteed
debate.
fact.
I'm right.
You're not
Oh
right.
my gosh!
It's a guaranteed fact that next month there will be iOS 14 coming out as a developer.
I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow.
As a developer beta. Sure.
I'm going to bring this topic up with Chuck tomorrow. I guarantee you he's going to say the same thing. It's coming out no matter what.
Look, I can't help it if you guys are all wrong. That's not my problem.
Okay. Well,
all right, moving on.
Disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, we can agree disagree.
All right, no soup for you. According to the analysts with the mostest, Min-Ji Kuo, Apple may not include those free Lightning earpods with the iPhone 12. The report states that most people just use whatever comes with their phones. However, I have a drawer full of unused ones that say different.
So do I.
We all do.
Yeah, I think I think this is probably just a cost-saving measure for Apple because most people are going wireless.
I was wallpapering my walls I was wallpapering my walls with the earpods cases that I would get.
Well, as long as
Until your wife
as
told
long
you
as
to
they
take it
keep
down.
putting out the Apple stickers, that's all I ask. Is anytime I buy a new Apple product, I want those Apple stickers.
I still have the 3.5 millimeter to Lightning adapter on my keychain.
Oh yeah, I've
that
got
they
one
gave
of
out.
those around here
So like,
someplace.
You actually got it on your keychain?
yeah, there's a thing you can buy on Amazon where it kind of sticks in there.
I probably have one sitting in my drawer here.
It's kind of neat.
Okay.
But yeah, so they did that. They
wait.
did the 3.5 millimeter. Then they went with the adapter, and then they went to Lightning earphones.
Apple Pencil 1 adapter, I have that.
Yeah, I think I
Well,
used that.
do you think that that anyone will, or at least most people will care whether or not they
There'll be
get
somebody that
earbuds?
cares.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be complaints.
There'll be lots of people that'll bitch about it, but the question is,
Yeah.
will most people, since most people are, and I mean, we don't know, but most people I think are probably using wireless earbuds or something other than the earbuds that comes with their phones, because typically, I mean, they're not that great. So you get something that you think is a little bit better, and not even necessarily these things.
The complaint's going to be is they're not going to drop the price of the phone, and that's what people are going to
Of course,
complain
they're
about.
not going to drop the price of the phone. They just released the iPhone SE with an absolute tippy top price of $550. That's an
Right.
incredible price.
No, but I'm saying if the SA did not come with the headphones, it would still be $550.
Yeah.
And people know that,
Right,
and people get upset about that.
Oh,
Because
well.
they're like, oh, so we don't get
there's
the
gonna
stupid crappy headphones, but you're going to charge me the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
They don't like that.
there's already rumor of talking about new AirPods coming out and more, and probably AirPod headsets too. So it's probably
Maybe it
just
comes
another
with the
way.
headsets.
Yeah, well, I doubt it, but but now give it an excuse. No, hey, I guess I'm gonna have to buy these to go along with my iPhone.
Well, I have always kind of wondered, I mean, because Apple builds everything to such scales that why couldn't they include something like, or maybe even a cheaper version of the first generation of AirPods with phones and tablets and everything else that's mobile
'Cause
related?
They like to sell them separately so they can make money off it.
What?
It's crazy.
That's just crazy talk. Okay. Boy, this show is just cruising right along. Last story I've got for the evening. Apple TV reruns. Apple may be in talks with content producers to license some of their back catalogs of shows or movies to bolster their own original-only content. When comparing Apple TV's offerings to the likes of Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus, Apple's cupboards seem a little bare. So, do you both subscribe to Apple TV, or do you have it free because you've bought an Apple device?
Got it free.
Okay.
Device.
When that runs out, and again, assuming that you don't buy something else that gives you another year of free Apple TV service,
If they offer that.
Yeah, even if they even still offer it, then based on what is currently available through Apple TV, would you still be signing up for it? Would you still be paying that? What is it? I don't even know what it is now. $6.99 a month.
$5, $4.99.
It's $4.99 a month.
$4.99 a month. Would you
I
still
like
be
still.
paying for it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're watching one particular show. My wife and I are watching one particular show that's going as of right now. That we want to continue to watch, and for
Which one is it?
It's Defending Jacob. It's with Chris.
Helms?
It's Captain-
Helmsworth? No, Captain
No.
America. Chris Evans.
It's Captain America. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
And it's
I'll check that out.
yeah, it's good. It's fun. I mean, yeah. I mean,
I still haven't finished the morning show.
I mean, right? We're just we're invested in it now. So now if I didn't start the show, it wouldn't maybe I wouldn't go for the $5 a month. But now, if my subscription expires, this is my answer. If my
You need to get
subscription
it just so you can
expires,
finish at least this show.
right? If it expires and I'm not in the middle of some season that I want to finish, I probably wouldn't renew it unless there was something coming up. If there was something that I'm in the middle of, I'm gonna probably get it until I finish the season and then drop it. Unless there's other ways to wink get it. And then there's
Get it.
although I hear it's hard to get Apple TV shows from what I've understand. I haven't tried it yet.
Pirate Bay is your friend. I don't even know that's
Pirate
still
Bay-
a thing. Is
Pirate
that
Bay
even
has
still
some-
around?
Yes, it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
God, I haven't looked
I'm not
at
gonna.
anything there in
I'm
probably
never
15
going. I
years.
will admit or deny that I've been on that website, but yes, it's still there.
There was, I think I can probably admit it now. It was a long, long time ago when that Watchmen movie came out, and Tim was still running the MyMac podcast, and we were supposed to talk about that movie, and it was still out in theaters, but I hadn't had an opportunity because my kids were very small, and I just didn't have time to go see it. So I did like I downloaded it and I watched it. And it was like 12 hours after I got a notification from Warner Brothers or whoever it was that had the movie that they knew I had downloaded. It was like, damn it! It's like, come on, I'm helping to promote the damn thing. I'm talking about it on the MyMac podcast.
Yeah, they don't care. I got them once. I got once or twice those letters, and now they don't even bother.
It came from for me. It was Comcast when.
It was Verizon Fios for me, but they don't.
By the way, Watchmen does not hold up.
VPN.
Does not hold
use
up
VPN.
as a movie. You just not that.
That's why I use VPN.
Okay.
Yeah, except mine expired, and I don't feel like paying for it again. And so I've been doing it without the VPN, and nobody's bothered me yet. So I think they're like whatever.
Well, Frank says that they should bundle these services.
Yeah, everybody
I would agree.
Yeah, why not?
If they would bundle, and not just music and Apple TV, but News Plus and iCloud storage and Apple Arcade. Just $20 a month. Give me all of that stuff. Everything. $20 a month, my 2 terabytes of storage that I'm hardly breaking a sweat on over in iCloud, and everything else that's right there. And oh my God, just watch all the Apple fanboys like me come jumping and rolling in, because that would be a hell of a deal. And it would certainly boost their watching, people watching probably the news service.
Well, I think the danger with bundling, personally, is when you start to do that, one service may become a wasteland, because at that point it's not a...
True.
Well, some of them already are.
Well, but not as much.
Well,
so, I could totally see if they start bundling something with Apple News, I could totally see them abandoning the project.
They're going to get the content providers to bail. There's enough as it is with News Plus that getting all those content providers on there, they start bundling, and it's going to cut into the price, and then they're going to get less for what Apple agreed to pay them. So
you would have to do it with the strong players. You would have to bundle iCloud, Apple Music, and what else is
Arcade?
strong?
Arcade, News Plus,
it's not that strong.
iCloud.
Honestly, I'm enjoying the hell out of Arcade. There's like 4 or 5 games that I'm playing on a regular basis from Arcade. And I keep seeing other ones that keep popping up, and I don't go and get them because I'm still playing the ones that I'm enjoying. Actually, there's one that I really like currently is called, I think it's called No Way Out. Where is it? Yeah, No Way Home. And then there's another one, Oceanhorn 2. That's been fun.
Do they have coronavirus?
Grindstone, where you're this, you're basically this warrior. Then you go into these caves and you have to kill all these small innocent looking creatures that sometimes turn really nasty. And so that's fun, you know. And there's a pinball game with a wizard that I'm really liking. There's a bunch of games in arcade that once I started playing,
keeps you entertained.
Yeah. And are they, you know, Left 4 Dead style or of, you know, that kind of quality? No, but they're still fun.
I downloaded Grand Theft Auto 5. It was free off Epic's website.
Was it?
Yeah, it might still be free, but you need the Epic launcher.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Boot Camp on my MacBook Pro, and I downloaded it. And
it's for PC.
It's
it's never been out for Mac.
Yeah.
Right.
So I downloaded it, and it's first of all it's 100 megabytes. So you know, my Boot Camp partition was only like 20 gig or something. I mean 100 gigabyte.
It's 100 gigabytes.
It's 100 gigabyte.
Yeah, it's
so.
Oh my gosh!
So
and that's not even counting all the add-ons.
As you said, 100 megabytes. What a big deal. 100 gigabytes?
No.
Holy
It's 100
wow.
gigabytes. So I had to create a new partition and install in there. So I installed it. It took about an hour to install it, and then I started playing, and it ran pretty good on my Mac Pro, my MacBook Pro. Except I don't have a joystick, and the keyboard was just annoying me, so I had installed it right away. But it was. I needed, I just want to see it for the to remember it, and I don't remember it. So I think I thought it was the one where you drive around with a car, and I think that's Vice City.
And kill
that's what I
people.
Well, no, you drive around in the car in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Did you?
There's
Steal
like
the cars and kill people.
Yeah.
Well, no,
and
because
there's,
like the
there's,
first.
there's like, God, there's the huge city.
Okay,
San
I couldn't get to
Andreas.
that. San Andreas is a whole different one. It's GTA 5.
Okay, well, whatever the
San
name of
Andreas.
the city is, and then there's like a couple of smaller towns, and they're all like interconnected through either these like mountain roads that you go through or these like interstate highways.
There's
and they're
an
like
intro-
private servers out there where you've got real live people that are playing cops and real life people playing criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch some of the let's plays over on YouTube. There's a guy named Polecat, I think his name is, and he and some of his friends have a bunch of videos up that are just hysterical to watch. They've been doing that for like 4 or 5 years.
But I couldn't even get to the point where you drive around because in the beginning, I don't know if you remember, but in the beginning you're robbing a bank and like you're not even in your car. You're robbing a bank and you got to put
Yeah, you got to do this stupid.
you got to do that, and then the security guard has the security guard takes one of your guys hostage, and it's like you got to switch characters, and it says push. And this is on my MacBook. Hold down the left Windows key or Alt key to switch characters. And I'm trying Command. I'm holding down. I'm trying Option. Everything I'm doing is just quitting the game. So I'm like, I'm done. I can't even.
And
figure
basically,
this
the
one out.
guard's like, "Look, I'm just going to kill this guy, okay?"
Well,
I
he
don't
does.
care anymore.
Eventually, it's like you lost it. They killed him. So, yeah.
Then you got to start all over again.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
Well, that's pretty much all we got for tonight, guys. We appreciate the fact that you have joined us tonight on this very, very weird and rambling Mac to the Future Go episode, but it's still been kind of fun. I kind of like this where we just veer off onto other weird topics for.
It's got your name all over it.
It does. It does.
It does.
Yeah, I can't deny that at all. You know, it's just that's me, Mr. Ramblin'. I'm like the rambling gambling man, as
The
Bob
rambling
Seger used to
man.
sing.
Rambling
Before we go, let's see, Dave. If people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do it to tell you that you need a haircut? Yeah, freaking hippie.
I know. I need to get a haircut. It's so bad. June 1st, I think we can get out and finally get someone to cut it.
Good.
InTouchWithIOS.com is our web. Go onto our website there. Mr. Chuck Joyner is going to be on the show tomorrow, and we're going
Nice.
to have a lot of fun. Yes, and
And he's going to agree
coming
with
up-
me.
coming up on our 100th episode. This is episode 99. We're bringing 100
Sweet.
episodes next week, so that's pretty exciting. And yes, I'm president of the Suburban Chicago Apple Users. Got some exciting things going on with that group too, and we are doing virtual meetings. So we're going to start trying to advertise and tell people, hey, you want to come out and support our group, and you can actually see our content. You come see us. That's
Yeah.
myscau.org is that website, and
Nice.
and I'm on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at DaveG65.
All right. What about you, Mr. Warren?
I don't know. Whatever. I'm you know where to find me.
You hate to tell where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nobody needs to know. I barely.
It's somewhere in the northeast part of the United States.
I care where I don't care where I am. I'm sure nobody else cares where I am too. So.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. If you'd like to send me an email, it's guy@mymac.com. I am on the Twitters either as MacParrot and or Vert Shark. Beside Carol, I got a copyright strike on YouTube.
What? Did you?
Yeah, the last MyMac Podcast, because I've been putting those up as... Oh, I should remind people, I've been making videos of Gaz and me for the MyMac Podcast that we do on the weekends. And he's got like this kind of like close to 30-second Jaws theme. Mm-hmm. And after I uploaded the last episode, I got this notification from YouTube saying, oh yeah, well, they're Warner Brothers or Universal, whoever it is that put out Jaws, is all upset because there was like a 30-second clip of Gaz and I talking over John Williams' Jaws theme. And it's like, really? You know,
Knock, knock.
somebody's not going to buy the movie or somebody's not going to buy the soundtrack because they heard that little bit on the MyMac Podcast.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Shark.
Shark who?
Land shark.
Land Shark. Almost forgot about that. Okay, well, besides the Mac to the Future livecast, I've also been putting out just a ton of Guy's Daily Drives in both audio and video formats. And if you wait, probably either later tonight, maybe tomorrow, there will be the edited version of the Mac to the Future livecast in both audio and video form, available either on the Facebooks or over at vertshark.com, which I am also in the process of revamping. Because it needs revamping. That is such a hideous looking site. And at one point after I got done, I was like, that looks really great. And now it's like I go to it, it's like, my eyes, they're bleeding. So, and if you'd like to help me, if you'd like to help support the things that I do, you can buy me a coffee at coffee.com/MacParrot. You can become a Patreon, patreon.com /MacParrot. You can also do a one-time donation, paypal.me/Jaws. Mac Parrot, there. So that is going to do it for this evening. Thank you all so very, very much for joining us. We really, really do appreciate the fact that you have taken the time to join us right here on the Mac to the Future livecast. And we hope to see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Say goodnight, Dave and Warren.
Good night, Dave and Warren.
Yeah, that'll
What he
work.
said.
Yeah, what he said.